Are you ready to get sexy?
Sexy, baby.
Kiss 92's Big Show
Sexy.
welcomes Dr. Martha Lee,
Hey, baby.
the sexyologist.
I'm sexy and I know it.
Shut the door! It's Behind Closed Doors with Dr. Martha Tara Lee. Bring down the blinds.
All down.
No one should be able to look into the studio right now. Good
But
morning,
if you do
Martha.
want to look into the studio, you can catch us on the Big Show TV.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And you'll know I'm not making it up. See, the blinds are down.
They are.
The door is closed, and we have Dr. Martha Tara Lee. Welcome to the show once again, Dr. Lee.
Yes. Today we have a very interesting topic. We're going to talk about cheating, okay? But we once again have to remind, we're not giving out tips
No.
as in how to cheat.
And we're not
Strategies.
encouraging anyone to cheat as well. It's a bad thing.
But we are going to cover the reasons why some couples turn to cheating, and some of these reasons will blow your mind, okay? And I'll leave it to Glenn to actually bring up one of the potential reasons why people might cheat.
Yes, because they don't want to leave the marriage, and so they cheat. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah,
Martha.
I think it was a good topic you brought up last week because cheating is a topic that has always been covered, but there are people who cheat thinking that they are saving their marriage, and I think that's a slightly different angle.
How do you mean saving their marriage by cheating? I don't get it.
Yeah, because they are very, very unhappy and they are just doing it to relieve some of the stress and pressure and unhappiness so that they can cope, so that they can maintain the relationship, the status quo as it is.
So to spell it out, you're saying they're not getting intimacy in the marriage, so they get intimacy outside of the marriage
Because the
to
marriage is
satisfy themselves.
because
so
the
that-
marriage is a sexless marriage,
Yeah.
and they still love each other,
Yes.
but not in that way anymore.
But obviously, when you are frustrated, and you are feeling very unhappy, all that stress, all that frustration may manifest in other ways, which you then take onto your partner, and then that leads to a miserable relationship. So, in order to avoid and have a stress-free environment with your partner, you need to fix yourself elsewhere.
So a lot of people cheat for different reasons, but in this case, specifically Glenn's perspective is they are actually trying to keep the relationship going as it is. So it's not really they are having an affair to exit the relationship, but actually they think that the affair helps them to maintain what they already have.
Wow.
Because they have their needs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They all have their needs.
Purely
it's just that
physical.
they're not attracted to each other anymore. But they
Okay.
do love each other in all the other ways.
And a lot of times they have children as well, and they don't want to break up the family.
That's correct.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, marriage is so much more than just about sex. There are so many things involved. There's a household, kids, the bills, the family image. There's a work image. So many things involved. And of course, in this day and age, in Singapore's context, it is not a good financial decision to get a divorce.
So
Yeah.
is this about being right or wrong? Is there a right or wrong in a situation like this?
Yep.
Obviously,
It's-
as Glenn said, we do not encourage
Yeah.
cheating,
Yeah,
but
it-
we are just discussing this topic today.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's wrong.
Yeah, same.
But it's a matter of like, how do they live with that on their conscience?
Yep.
That they're actually getting it from somewhere else, yet sleeping with someone else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, let's continue to talk to Dr. Lee on the Big Show TV. Meantime, here's Olivia Rodrigo with Drop Dead on Kiss 92.
So following up on that point, okay, I mean, obviously, yes, when you describe it that way, you can understand the reasons why someone might turn to a strategy like that, okay? Does it ever work?
I don't think it works. It just sweeps things under the carpet and...
And eventually you start to resent each other, right? I would think the woman is like, what? I mean, I would be extremely unhappy if I knew that my husband or my partner was getting it from somewhere else,
course.
even if I wasn't giving him any.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And even if he describes it to you in such a rational way, this is the reason why I did this, it's not going to make you feel any better.
But is that how the couples do it? Do they do it knowingly? I mean, do these men go out and get their intimacy solved with their wives' knowledge?
Oh, I mean, if you're going to use
no,
the term
right?
cheating,
That would
So
be
it's
open
cheating.
marriage.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So this is
No partner will
cheating.
say yes to these sort of
You'll be
things.
surprised.
In Japan, they do apparently.
Well,
Yeah,
Yeah.
not here, I think.
No.
well, I've also heard, as couples get on with age as well. And once again, I've heard this stuff from like my parents' generation, right? Couples are older. The husband works overseas, particularly. the wife, I've actually heard some of my parents' friends go, you know what, he's a man, he's got to do what he needs to do, go overseas, fine, he can do whatever he wants as long as he doesn't bring back anything here.
Yeah, but what is
I've heard that as well.
I hate that stereotype that, those that work overseas, those that always travel for business, obviously they must have women in every port. I hate that, because it's such a judgmental statement that, obviously if your husband or your wife travels for work, then definitely they must be getting something somewhere else.
Well, maybe they feel because I can't be there with him and I recognize the fact that he's got these needs. I'm not saying it's right.
Every day?
No.
Yeah,
but
we're not saying it's right.
I know.
I'm not saying it's right, but perhaps in their minds they're thinking, because I can't be there to relieve him, then I should be okay with him getting his rocks off elsewhere.
Yeah, and just because it's unspoken doesn't mean it's okay.
But there are other ways to get your rocks off in terms of like maybe a video conference with your wife.
Okay, lah,
You know
like
what I
this-
mean? Some people
last time
do
you
that,
have lah,
right?
huh?
Yeah, some
Yeah.
people do that, right?
But not everyone is comfortable.
That's true, yeah. Yeah.
With that as well.
Yeah.
Case studies, Dr. Lee. I mean, have you come across a situation like this that we're discussing?
Oh yes, there are people who come to me saying that they love their partner very much. They cannot imagine what will happen. They don't want to think about it if they found out. They want to keep the family intact. They make excuses like, oh, it's just only about sex. It's just to cope. Everything else works. Okay, what they don't know don't hurt them.
But there's a risk, right? I mean, if whether it's men or women, I'm not saying it's only the men that are doing it. For emotions to get involved with that external party,
Yep.
right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, if it's just sex, after a while, sex sometimes leads to other things,
Of
right?
course, if you see someone for some time, emotions will develop. Not to mention that sex is a very intimate act, and even though you go in knowingly thinking that you don't want to get your emotions involved,
If it's the same person, then it would
yeah,
happen.
of course,
Yeah.
and all the hormonal changes that happens. So of course, that can happen.
Yeah.
Also, what about those people who are doing it for validation because they feel neglected and lonely?
Right. And on top of that, I think it's very easy to then develop feelings for this person, for your side chick, right?
Or your side man.
Or your side man. Because unlike your marriage and relationship where you have your ups and downs, you're just getting the ups. You are getting the
Fun.
physical,
Yes, the
the
novelty.
intimacy without having to deal with all the problems. So after a while, you're going to choose to rather be, where it's good, in the playground rather than come back to real life.
Yes, that's also the allure of the forbidden. The very fact that you cannot see this person as much as you would like, or it's not going to work out for practical reasons, you actually want it more. So this double life can be really exciting, like secret agent.
Yeah. Until you get caught.
Yeah, and it can be very devastating.
Yeah,
of course.
and I mean, affairs, I'm going to call it an affair, never works out. It never ever works out. And there's more than one family that's going to get hurt.
And this is the thing, you see, and that's why I think this segment is very, very important, because I mean we cover everything that has got to do with sex, because sex is such a powerful thing. It's such an addictive thing as well, and it often gets people into
Trouble.
Yeah, sex is
and
a
it's
very
such a
powerful
taboo
energy.
topic as well.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
powerful, it's taboo. Also, what happens in the Asian context is we have a lot of difficulties confronting issues. People who have a avoidant conflict style, and it is very challenging for them to ask for what they want, or maybe they try or they hint and they don't get through the point, and then they just give up.
Okay. All right, so I've got an interesting twist on this, okay? I mean, we've always spoken, from the perspective of someone who is cheating, okay? We always tell them, this is going to be hard for you. Whatever it is, issues that you're running away from, you're sweeping it under the rug, you are finding a validation elsewhere. I want to look at it from the other person, the person who's being cheated on, okay? Now, there could be a lot of people who know that their partners, they suspect, right? But they don't want to bring it up for the same reasons, right? They don't want to confront them because I rather not know. I don't want to rock the boat. I want to save my marriage. So because of that, they do not confront. Is it
Yes.
healthy for them to keep quiet?
Yeah, being in denial, or this don't ask, don't tell, they suspect, there may be some telling signs, like, they're very secretive about access to their phone, or they bring their phone everywhere, even to the bathroom, things like that, or more particular about their grooming. But yes, it is I would say even when they suspect, they may be too embroiled in the day-to-day life. They are barely coping. That
Too
is
much
one of the
work.
reasons why they don't have the sex drive and don't want to have intimacy.
Yeah. So would you
Yeah.
suggest if you suspect your partner is cheating, you bring it up?
I think it's important to talk about it, no matter how tough it is.
Some people would rather, like you've brought this up before, Tim, keep the peace
Yes.
than confront someone.
But it's, it's such a crazy situation, right? Because let's say both parties are not getting intimate anymore. If one party has a high sex drive and the other party does not, there's a problem right there. If both parties have high sex drives, it's also a problem there.
Yeah.
If they're not like attracted to each other, then both of them are going to be cheating on
Yep.
each other. So
and
it's,
also, like, what are the chances both of you have high sex drive at the same time?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And
Very
your
few
whole
people
life.
And
are
your
in
whole
sync.
life, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, let's go to traffic.
Kiss 92 traffic.
Okay, if you're heading up to Malaysia, it's about 50 minutes, almost an hour via Tuas, and 80 minutes via Woodlands. Elsewhere in Singapore, on Penang Road towards Clemenceau Avenue, an accident after Penang Lane, avoid lane 2. On the PIE towards Changi, a vehicle's broken down after the KPE. Also on the PIE, same stretch towards Changi, after the CTE SLE, another vehicle having trouble there, avoid lane 5. Other than that, it's heavy traffic all over the place. Wherever you are, stay safe.
Kiss 92 traffic update brought to you by BYD. Bring the family to the BYD booth at the SG Carmart Carnival this weekend. Discover our latest electric vehicles and receive exclusive limited edition Minions merchandise while stocks last. Don't miss it.
Welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. It's Behind Closed Doors with Dr. Martha Tara Lee, our sexologist. And today we're kind of like highlighting and, reminding people who might be having an affair why having an affair is not a good idea.
It's not the solution. Yeah.
Now, in terms of statistics, Martha, just very quickly, statistics, right, of Singaporean married couples here in Singapore. I mean, how happy are they? How satisfied are
Not
they?
happy, not happy, not happy. So a lot of people are actually happy with their partner, but
Yeah.
not many are happy with their romantic sexual life. So there's the difference between 82% versus 62%. That's 20% of people having this disparity about the quality of their life.
Okay, but that's it. Also, do they have unrealistic ideas or expectations of what their, intimate lives are supposed to be? Because once again, social media, stuff we watch on TV and the movies, it's supposed to
Yes.
be like this. It's supposed to be
and-
mind-blowing.
And then there's this comparison with this invisible couple that they are trying to catch up to.
Yeah, how come she goes to bed looking like that and wakes up looking like that?
Absolutely. Hair is perfect. But I have a question. Okay, this is going to be a bit of an odd question, okay? Because we've been talking about cheating. We've been talking about the reasons why people cheat. Is there any genetic or hereditary link when it comes to cheating? Like, for instance, if your grandfather cheated, if your father cheated, then I am then going to have some sort of predisposition to cheating on my partner.
Yeah, I'm not sure so much whether we are born like this, but definitely we may pick up certain subconscious beliefs and attitudes from our family of origin.
Yeah, I think because like if you see your grandfather or your father cheating or your parents' marriage not having worked out, you kind of have this image in your head that that's how things are meant to be. That's why it's
That's
so
your
important.
normal.
It's so important with language, how you behave around kids, and how your your relationship is with your partner, right?
I do believe, like, if your father was a Don Juan de Marco, you will be a Don Juan de Marco Jr.
Yes. I mean, chances are really, really high.
So generally, a lot of my clients, they pick up behaviors and beliefs of the parent of the same gender. But what sometimes happens is they side with their other parent, and then they try to be, maybe like the boy will try to be more like the mom and reject the father's behavior, for instance.
Or it can be completely opposite, and they try really, really hard to make everything work because nothing worked on their parents' side.
Yeah, that's true.
So how, Dr. Martha, How, Dr. Lee?
I think we all need to be brave, not just in communications. Get better as communicators and becoming braver in dealing and addressing all the issues in the relationship. So of course, obviously, I would suggest therapy, because in therapy, contrary to what a lot of people think, we don't just listen and take your money. We actually try to teach skills, and we facilitate deeper connections, deeper conversations that a lot of couples don't have. They just like talk about it in the surface, and then they gets too triggering, and then they just leave it.
But it's
Yeah.
got to start with the couples wanting to fix something, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
I think people misunderstand our ability to make people change. People can only change when they want to change.
Right.
Okay.
Do you think there's some sort of a disparity, right, or some sort of conflict, particularly with how the society that you are in views sex? Because on one hand, there's like, oh, there's morals, there's principles, there's a certain image you're supposed to follow by, but at the same time, there's also empowerment. We should celebrate our sexuality. So for a lot of people, they find they're conflicted, right? Because on one hand, I'm supposed to behave a certain way. I'm supposed to be proper. I'm supposed to almost, abstain from a lot of things. But on the other hand, I'm also encouraged to empower and to celebrate,
Correct.
my feelings and
Yes.
my body.
Because of all these conflicting messages that we are receiving internally in our circle of our friends, our culture, our society, and then there's the social media, and then there's the westernization. Like, a lot of people don't really know what they're supposed to think or feel around this topic, and maybe they don't even think about it at all. So it's sometimes also a bit off-putting that is so in your face, like songs or music videos or
It's too much.
drama, and then they just don't know what's real anymore.
Yeah, I think the reason why people don't, approach or broach the topic of sex is because, if sex were a person, I think sex would be a troublemaker.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
Because I feel like the more sex you have, the more you want to have.
It's addictive.
Yeah.
But if you hold back, it is. But if you hold back, let's say, and you abstain, for example, right? You won't
Yeah.
be in as much trouble.
Like you've said, if you don't use it, you'll lose it, right?
Yes.
So,
Yeah. So some people tend to want to just I want to
done with
lose
it.
it,
Yeah.
because I can't satisfy.
Yeah, so
myself
our sex
all the
attitude
time.
is very important. The way you think about it does shape your behavior, and then there are clients who end up just calling it duty sex or pity sex.
Okay.
Pity sex.
Let's continue to talk to Dr. Lee on the Big Show TV. It is 9:27.
Kiss 92 Time Check brought to you.
Okay, so I mean, like the title of this today's topic, why do people cheat? But the subtitle, when people cheat not to leave but to keep the marriage going. So how else can people keep a marriage going without cheating? In this aspect.
A lot of times they are cheating because they don't want to rock the boat,
Yeah.
and they are seeing sex as just something that is non-emotional. You can say it's an excuse, stereotypes. So I call it farming, farming out the problem. And then there are people, this is how I came up with.
Outsourcing.
Yes, farming it out, outsourcing. That's the first reason, the one that we are talking about today. And then there's FOMO. Oh, I'm getting old, I better do it. Otherwise, there's expiry date, fear of missing out. And then there's entitlement. People who actually think there's nothing wrong with what I'm doing.
I love it, fear of missing out, because you're stocking all that sexual activity for later,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, that energy. But at the same time, I'm just wondering, the fact that we tell, that these people feel that, they can go outside just to satisfy that one aspect of their life, their relationship. Are we then discounting the importance and how integral, a good sex life is to a marriage? Because if someone can go, yes, I can appreciate the 90%, and the 90% will still work, and I'll be fine as long as I get my 10% elsewhere. But no, you need that. That's part of the formula of the relationship. If you don't have that 10% in your marriage, then maybe your marriage is not working out already.
Yeah, there are people who question what they feel, because it's is what I'm feeling valid, because everything else is working. So it's work, right, that they need to do. And then there's also this tendency that we are supposed to be not so greedy. So they feel that part of it it's okay until it's not okay.
So I was going to ask, because Tim just said something interesting. He's like 100% of a relationship. That's what you're counting,
Yeah.
right? And 10% is outside, 90% you're getting. If you get the 10% inside, then you have a full 100%. But it's any relationship. at full 100% all the time.
Precisely. So there are issues that I want to bring up. I think the difference between perpetual issues and gridlock issues. So most relationships would have issues that cannot be resolved. And Gottman would say that 69% of issues cannot be resolved in a coupled relationship.
69%?
69% of issues cannot be resolved. So you come to therapy and you think if we resolve these issues, then we'll be happier. But in reality, some of these issues, no matter how much you talk about it, cannot be resolved because it can be linked to preferences or morning night person or personality or hobbies or things like that. It just cannot be resolved. And so perpetual issue is an ongoing difference. You can still address it, but the gridlock issues are the ones that you have the problem, you have the same fights, and then you start to shut down because you are just sick of
repeating,
not being able to come to any kind of resolutions. So being able to differentiate between the perpetual versus gridlock issues are important because that also contributes to their happiness or unhappiness in the relationship.
Do you have some examples of gridlock and perpetual issues?
Yeah, so perpetual will include, for instance, morning night person, communication style, conflict styles. So there are things that still can be worked on, like parenting styles. But the gridlocks one will be like, for instance, if someone has medical issues or their sex drives are always different, and their unwillingness to basically like budge in any way.
Okay, so I want to ask you, ladies. I just thought of something.
But wait, hold on, Tim.
Oh, sorry.
But before that, I just want to make it very clear once again, like when we talk about sex and stuff like that. I mean, if you have medical issues and all that, I mean, we're not talking about you. Obviously you have we're talking about like people who are healthy
and people who have choices
regular
and have choices.
The ones with choices.
That's right. Okay, go ahead.
So
Sorry,
no problem. So I basically just had an idea, and because these days whenever relationships, couples get together, they start dating, right? They always try to find out about the person that they're dating very early on, and we talk about things like deal breakers. You meet somebody for the first time,
red flags,
you want to find out a little bit about them because you don't want to waste each other's time, right? You find, are you a morning person? How do you communicate? What are the deal breakers? Do you want to have children? Because if you don't want to have children, I want to have children, there's no point moving on. That's your deal breaker. Do you think sex drive should be something that should be addressed in your first few meetings when you are starting to date? Because fact of the matter is, if the person doesn't have a sex drive, does not have the same attitudes towards sex as you do, then that's going to lead to problems later on. It's better to know it now before you commit.
Like asexual?
No. Like, for instance, like, do you like sex a lot? I like sex a lot. I want to have it all the time.
But that's going to change, though.
No, still. But, at least you will find out from the beginning. No, because maybe from the beginning, they're like, doesn't really, I can imagine a marriage, just not getting it on at all. But because this is not addressed early on, before you know it, boom, trapped in a relationship. No sex,
is
right?
That something we should talk about?
But the thing is, a lot of times they don't know what their sex drive is going to be down the road, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
You meet someone new, that sense of novelty, discovery, and also for people who are new to sex, is a whole new world for them.
But what he's saying is like now, if I want to date you.
I think a lot of people confuse sex drive with sex attitude.
Okay.
Because the drive is something that can change,
Yes.
but your attitude is more important because your attitude will shape your longer term behavior around
But,
sex.
I mean, for a guy, we want to be upfront, right? I have a high sex drive. I'm telling you now, I'm going to want to do it all the time. I'm going to want to do it 3 times a week, 4 times a week, twice on Sundays. Would you be ready? I mean, ladies,
Yes,
would you be ready for a conversation like that?
Absolutely.
Straight up.
I think it's good to get it right out there, because if I'm a girl that's kind of like, oh, this is my first time that I'm going to be even getting into sex, then that's going to scare me. But if he is a guy that's also a first timer, then at least we can explore it together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think that's an honest conversation. Maybe not on the first date, because that's going to be quite scary. But maybe like 3, 4, 5 months. I don't know, however long it takes for you to open up about that. But it's definitely something.
Once
to
again,
talk about.
our society, we don't want to talk about sex, right? It's so
Yeah,
taboo. It's like, what if she
correct.
thinks I'm some creepy guy because I'm bringing it up, right?
Yeah.
Also,
Test the waters.
let's not forget the motivation for sex for women in general tends to not just be about the drive, but the amount of love that they are feeling, the connection they are feeling. So the motivation for sex for women in general is not biological. It's not whether you're horny or not horny. It's how much they feel loved.
So there's a saying that says men will say I love you for sex, and women will give sex to get love.
Yeah.
Oh.
You
But
know
what,
what I
what
mean?
can be very complicated is for some relationships, right? I mean, when you're getting to know each other at the start, right? you have lots of sex.
Yeah.
And it's almost like in any situation, you have sex. Right?
Honeymoon period, yeah.
Yeah, honeymoon period. But at that point, right, the guy doesn't think like, oh yeah, I mean,
That's
she's
gonna
like
change.
emotionally connected, because it's almost like, okay, we can do it anywhere,
Yeah.
anytime. And then after that, when you get together as a couple or when you get married, then all of a sudden, from that much sex that you're having, everything starts to go downhill, right? You have less and less and less sex. But you're already so spoiled because at the start you got so much of it.
Because the
So-
girl, carry on.
so if you ask me, I think it's better to start off slow than to start off with a lot.
Yeah.
Because you know that at some point you're going to get less of it and you're going to feel dissatisfied. But if you start off slow and you come up to a point where it's
Comfortable.
comfortable,
Yeah.
I think it's
I
easier
think that's
to
the
maintain
argument of
that.
people who are into abstinence.
Yeah.
Wait till marriage.
No, I think that's a terrible idea.
Yeah, then what if it's bad? Then you're trapped.
Yeah,
you know? But I mean,
exactly.
even earlier we were talking about, if you have a lot of it at the beginning, right? Guys like consistency. We're always like, but last time it was like that. Now you don't give. I feel like it was in the
Yeah.
contract. Those were the terms of the contract.
Yeah,
And
That's
then
why
now-
you like
what
to
I
do
signed
this,
up
but now
for.
you're not doing it anymore. What's up with that?
But remember, with every relationship, you marry, you're together with 7 different people because
Through the
you
lifetime,
change.
yeah.
Through a lifetime, you change, she changes, you
Yeah.
grow. So I mean, you try and constantly rediscover that person every day you wake up because
Yeah.
that person could be different, right?
But I also feel like I think the happiest people are the people who go into marriages as virgins.
really,
And
You
they
think
have
so?
each other
Yes,
and
yes.
only each other.
Because they got no comparison.
Yeah,
Yes,
there's
exactly.
no benchmark.
The problem is the comparison.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But if there's no comparison, then I think it's a good thing.
Well, I guess it's too late for all of us then.
but also afterwards they may have FOMO, like
I missed
Hopefully
out,
they
right?
don't.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully they don't.
Because they have friends that have had like 5 ex-boyfriends or 3 marriages, and then they're like, "Oh, I never went through that. I feel like I'm missing out."
Yeah, comparing.
Irony is, right, the conversations that we have, like for instance, right, when we have these very open conversations on radio or online, right, we are discussing the different ways, the different attitudes and all that. There could be someone tuning in right now who is, I don't have that. I didn't know that was possible. And then they start developing FOMO over stuff they didn't even knew they existed.
But I do think that it is possible because some families, right? I mean, I won't say religious or anything like that, but their parents always remind their kids like, save yourself for marriage. You know what I mean? And some kids really do save themselves for marriage. And I
Yes,
think,
my clients.
yeah, and I think it's a good thing.
Yeah. So we have someone on YouTube that asked for your email address, so we've sent it through. Maybe anybody who is watching us right now might need a little help or a little advice. You can always get in touch with Martha. What is your email address or your website?
Yes, you can email me at drmartali@eroscoaching.com. My website is eroscoaching.com.
Okay,
Eros
Eros.
Coaching.
EROS.
EROS
Coaching.com.
Coaching.com.
Okay,
Okay.
fantastic.
Going back on air.
News headlines from the Straits Times. Read more at straitstimes.com.
The Big Show. Kiss 92. Kiss 92 traffic.
All right, here's what it looks like on the roads right now. On the PIE towards Changi after Pasir Laba, a vehicle's broken down. Also on the PIE towards Changi after Thompson Road, an obstacle spotted after Lane 2. On Penang Road towards Clemenceau Avenue, an accident after Penang Lane in Lane 2 as well. And on the PIE towards Changi after the KPE, a broken down vehicle. If you're heading up towards Malaysia, it's 75 minutes via Tuas and 60 minutes, that's a whole hour, via Tuas.
Kiss 92 Traffic Update brought to you by BYD. Bring the family to the BYD booth at the SG Carmart Carnival this weekend. Discover our latest electric vehicles and receive exclusive limited edition Minions merchandise while stocks last. Don't miss it.
Welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. It's Behind Closed Doors with our sexologist, Dr. Martha Tara Lee, and we've covered quite a bit.
We have.
We can go on for another hour, quite frankly, but we're running out of time.
Absolutely. All right, so we've been talking a big part about cheating, and one of the most incredulous things no one had thought about until this session is that people sometimes turn to cheating to save their marriage, okay? So we have kind of been talking based on the assumption that the cheating involves another person. Okay, but as we know over the months we've done this, cheating doesn't always involve another person. There's always emotional cheating. There's also like cheating online. There's also anything that's basically taking you away from your actual partner.
Yeah,
so these
AI.
so these same concerns that you brought up earlier on about people trying to save their marriage with cheating, would that also apply to those who maybe turn to pornography, those who turn to online chats and stuff like that, basically just to satisfy a part of them that they are not getting from their partner?
Yeah, the part of them that feels lonely, neglected, ignored, unwanted, humiliated. So definitely anything that you are hiding and not being truly yourself, I feel needs to be addressed.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Before we let you go, Martha, would you like to say anything to people who are listening in right now who are having affairs?
Stop doing it.
Stop it right now.
There you go. You heard from the doctor.
Yeah, don't go for this short-term gratification or relief, and actually down the road it just becomes a long-term betrayal. Everything is about consent, right? Just because you're getting your cake and eat it doesn't mean that your partner wouldn't want the same, or your partner obviously would be devastated if they found out. So why not address and take steps towards becoming closer and work on this intimacy?
Okay, then now I'm a lady asking you, then how do I satisfy my needs? Dr. Lee.
Okay.
Ask for what you need, and also being able to ask in a way that your partner can understand and accept. Because a lot of times when you're asking someone to satisfy you, fulfill you, go out their way to please you, they actually want some kind of acknowledgement and reward. And sometimes they feel like the goalpost is moving and they can never satisfy you. That sometimes leads to people wanting to give up.
eroscoaching.com is where you can get more help.
People who approach you, last question, usually their concerns are about satisfying their needs or satisfying their partner's needs.
I think both. Yeah.
Okay, good. I
Okay.
just wanted to know. There are a lot of selfish people out there.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Lee, for coming in once again. Always a pleasure having you in the studio.
Thank you.